So, welcome back. This video is basically a video for all the guys that have been asking for some dimensions and some more information on this loft. This loft, the basic design of this thing, the concept was to fit in this backyard, as I've only got a very small space that I'm actually allowed to keep pigeons in. So I had to design something that was going to keep the neighbors happy, be easy to clean, be able to house about 20 birds, although I do have 36 perches here. That's basically just an extra allowance so the birds have got more room so they don't fight, because they do make a lot of room when the cockbirds are crawling around. So I'll basically go outside and we'll have a look at the actual dimensions. So basically from here to here, that is 2.4 meters, and then from here up to the top is 1.7, and then basically from there back to there is 1.2 meters. And you can see this is just a bit of timber here that I've used for the flooring. This is basically the frame for the floor, and then you can see I've just actually screwed that down on top. With this, I designed it around to basically to be super easy to build. The actual floor is one piece. Over here, a lot of things will come in 2.4 meter lengths, so I designed it around that because these lengths of timber here, they're 2.4, so there's minimal cutting. This actual floor piece is 2.4 by 1.2, which is heaps of room. So one piece being super easy to clean, it's super easy to replace too. You drop a few screws out, lift that up and put a new floor on. Let's go in here. Same thing with the plywood. I use plywood for the side. They come in 1.2 meter lengths wide, and they're about 2.4 high, so I only had to take a little bit off the top, and I used a couple of them around here, so not very many. It's only about 4 sheets I think of plywood on the outside, and then this is just flooring from my old Pigeon Loft, so I just made it to suit that height basically. But the main reason with that is to make this loft really simple to pull apart, pull together and build in general. It doesn't take very long, and it's actually pretty cheap. Like this thing, God, I wouldn't know what the price was, but it'd be between $500 and $1,000 maybe, but that's brand new, and that's with everything, all the sheets, wire, timber, paint. There's quite a bit in this really when you look at Sputniks, but we'll go into that. There is wire on here. It's very hard to see, but it is there. It's actually a mouse wire, so I went really small. Probably see it better up here. This really tiny stuff here, which 2 reasons: keeps the mice out, and also keeps the feathers in, because feathers go everywhere. And I've used the same along the bottom here, and then I've put shade cloth on the outside. I've just screwed it, and that gives the birds privacy, and also gives them a bit of rest from the heat. So it's good. There's a lot of ventilation in here. I've got 2 strips along the top, 2 strips along the bottom, as you can see, and then I've got a strip down here, strip across the top there, and then all this is ventilation as well. So ventilation in here is really good. Just to look at the perches. So basically I've got 2 sets of perches here. I've used this dressed treated, actually not even treated, it's just dressed pine, probably made for using furniture and stuff, but that was the only timber I could find that was the right length this way, because I wanted more room for the birds to actually sit up in here. So I knocked them together pretty quickly. Super simple. They're actually only held on by 4 brackets. Actually, yeah, got 2 brackets at the bottom and then just some screws at the top into that top one. So pretty simple. Ideally this would have been really good if I can move. This Sputnik was actually here, but this was all modifications after. So if this Sputnik, you could put it in the middle here, and you could actually run a divider in here if you want. Have a rolling door through here, and you could separate two sides. So then you've got, if you want to separate your cocks and your hens, and you can, and you could realistically just shut that, split this in two as well, so you could have that in the middle, and you could just train your cocks, and then you could train your hens separately, and they could come in and out into their sides, which I might do later when I move into my new property, because I might keep this loft and I could separate it, so that's an option. But we will be building a much bigger one anyway. The door here, pretty straightforward. Use the same framing timber and basically divided this in half. So that's actually only 600 millimeters wide, so 60 centimeters, and then that's the same. So that brings out to 1.2. Ideally with the height of this loft, I didn't want to go too high. I wanted to keep it just below the fence line. Just keeps a lot of the noise in here, you know, keeping the neighbors happy. So that's why it's a little bit shorter, and you'll see me hunched over in here. I don't spend a lot of time in here, but when I do, it's not too bad. I've got a light set up here. That's the switch, and it runs around, and I've just got this LED strip on a bit of PVC angle, and you'll see when I turn that on, we've got lights, and that is run by a battery. It's a bit messy in there, but just a little rechargeable battery. But I've only had to recharge that battery once, and that's only just because I forgot to turn the lights off one time. So yeah, it will last as long as I need to. I'm not out here much of a night time. That's more of a in case I get home late from work, I can come out here, turn the lights on, still feed the birds. So you can, it's not too bad. See, the birds have all got plenty of room. They're all pretty happy. Not too much fighting going on, but there's not too much in the way of birds in here at the moment. Just a few, because I'm downsizing before I move, because I don't want too many birds when I'm trying to juggle moving between two houses. I did put some more of this timber here just so the birds can fly back and forth. They do really like that, and they will sit here in the sun. I did have another one here, but I took that off and I put that there, because originally the trap was here in the center. I had a bob trap, but made some changes. But if you've got any questions, just drop them down below. I'll answer them. I can make more videos if you want more information. Just drop comments down below, because I will write back for all of them. But let's go out and have a look here. And I just set that off a bit more, just so no water will come back in through there, and the water will drip onto the ground, and I've got material there. But all plywood, painted with outdoor paint, and that's just the old floor I had, but it's pretty good for these smaller backyards. And then this is just the Sputnik. They can come in, lock that up, and then yeah, they can have baths and carry on in here, and that just offers a bit of protection from the wind and the heat. Now this is the area they can hang out. And that's how I put it on there, just with a few screws. That was mainly a summer thing, but I might keep that on there on the winter as well, because it seems to be working really well. Settles the birds down a bit, offers them some privacy. And another thing too that is a bit more privacy from hawks and that, because I realistically haven't had any problems here. And I put that down to, you know, maybe the hawks don't see the pigeons in here when they're doing their daily routines looking for something to eat in their territory, so they don't really probably know that there is pigeons here, so it's pretty good. We've had one hawk in the backyard, but that failed miserably. So in 2 years, one hawk, couple birds missing, but we don't know what happened to them. But that's it, corrugated iron on the roof. But this could probably do with another paint soon as well, because it's just starting to get a few little bubble spots in there. But that's it.